The unimpressed student, the Grand Hall of Blackwood. Medical University buzzed with the usual reverence as Dr. Elias Voss took the podium. At 42, he was a statue of calculated power, tall, broad-shouldered, with silver streaking his dark hair. In a gaze that made seasoned professors stiffen, students crane their necks, phones raised to capture the man who'd built a medical empire from scratch. Excellence isn't optional here. His voice cut through the murmurs. It's the bare minimum. His speech was the same as last year's, and the year before that. Elias barely glanced at his notes, his mind already on the merger negotiations. Waiting in his office. But then movement in the third row. A woman was scribbling notes, her brow furrowed. Not in awe, but in disagreement. When she finally looked up, her eyes sharp amber, utterly unimpressed, locked onto his. Elias faltered mid-sentence. The pause lasted just a second. His assistant David shot him a questioning look. Elias recovered smoothly, but his pulse betrayed him. Who the hell was she? 3 hours later, her file lay open on his desk. Lena Carter, 25, first-year resident. Dual degrees in neuroscience and clinical psychology. Works nights at Street, Mary's Free Clinic. The photo showed a woman with high cheekbones, full lips pressed into a firm line, and eyes that seemed to see through the camera. Elias traced the edge of the file. Her personal statement gutted him. My mother died because a doctor didn't listen. I won't be that kind of physician. David cleared his throat. She's trouble. Argued with Dr. Hirth last week about ethical disparities in clinical trials. Elias smirked. Get me her schedule. Lena didn't look up when he entered the anatomy lab that night. While other students gaped, she kept dissecting a cadaver's brachial plexus with precise, graceful cuts. Unconventional technique, Elias said, stopping beside her. She didn't flinch. It's effective. You're sacrificing visibility of the proximal attachments and gaining better preservation of the distal branches. Lena finally met his eyes. You're blocking my light, Dr. Voss. A laugh bubbled in his chest. Nobody spoke to him like that. David looked horrified. Elias was enthralled. He ran into her again at 1 a.m. in the research library. She was hunched over a neurology text, her hair escaping its messy bun. Miss Carter. He slid into the chair opposite her. Burning the midnight oil? I have a clinic shift at 7. She didn't look up, unless you're here to critique my suture. Technique? I'm busy. Elias pushed a rare text toward her neurodegeneration in underserved populations. Her fingers froze mid-page turn. This isn't in the curriculum. It should be. He watched her devour the text, her lips moving silently over the words. You're researching early biomarkers, aren't you? Her gaze snapped to his. How did I read your thesis proposal? He leaned closer. It's flawed. Lena's eyes flashed. Enlighten me then. 2 hours later, they were still arguing over statistical models, the library empty around them. Elias couldn't remember the last time someone challenged him. Lena's cheeks were flushed, her hands waving. Emphatically, you're ignoring socioeconomic factors, she insisted. Genetic research is useless if the patients can't access treatment. So change the system, he shot back. From your ivory tower, she laughed bitterly. Rich coming from a man who charges $200,000 for a consult. The insult should have angered him. Instead, Elias felt alive. Meet me here Thursday, he said abruptly. I'll show you why you're wrong. Lena tilted her head. Confident, aren't you? Always? He stood, leaving the rare text with her. Don't disappoint me, Miss Carter. He walked away. He knew he was already the one in danger of disappointment. The library's ancient clock chimed to a.m., its hollow echo bouncing off the vaulted ceilings. Lena rubbed her eyes, the words on the medical journal blurring into gray smudges. She shouldn't have agreed to this. Meet me here Thursday, Voss had said, as if it were a command, not a request. And yet, here she was. She startled when the chair across from her slid back. Elias Voss sat down, his crisp white shirt rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms corded with lean muscle. No suit today, no tie, just him. You came, he said, as if surprised. Lena lifted an eyebrow. He brought research to prove me wrong. I couldn't miss that. A flicker of amusement crossed his face, pulled a folder from his bag thick. stuffed with papers. Page 17, the Helsinki study. She flipped to it. Her breath caught. This, she traced the data with her finger. This contradicts everything Goldman published, because Goldman's team was funded by Pharmax. Elias leaned forward, his voice dropping. They buried the results that didn't fit their drug's profile. Lena's stomach twisted. People died because of this. Yes. His jaw tightened. I know. The confession 3 hours later, the library was a graveyard of coffee cups and scattered notes. Lena had kicked off her shoes under the table. Elias had undone his top button. You really sued them? She asked, stunned. I lost. His voice was bitter. Their lawyers buried me in motions until I ran out of money to fight. Lena studied him the way his thumb rubbed absently over a scar on his palm, the shadows under his eyes. This wasn't the untouchable billionaire the world saw? My mother, she said quietly, was misdiagnosed 3 times before they found the tumor. By then, it was wrapped around her brainstem. Elias stilled. How old were you? 16? She swallowed. I decided then no one else would fall through the cracks. Not if I could stop it. His gaze burned into her. That's why you work at the free clinic. It's why I fight. A silence stretched between them, heavy with something neither named. Almost Kislina reached for a highlighter at the same moment Elias did. Their fingers collided. A spark. A hitch of breath. She didn't pull away. Neither did he. His hand turned, his fingers brushing her palm. The air between them crackled. This is a bad idea. Her phone buzzed violently. Naomi Mentor. Lena, call me now. She jerked back. Elias's expression shuddered. Naomi's voice was sharp through the phone. Tell me you're not with Voss. Lena's stomach dropped. How did you? He's dangerous, Lena. His brother just leaked photos of you two to the press. The scandal begins. Ilias's phone lit up with Marcus's name. He answered with a snarl. What the hell did you do? Marcus's laugh was venomous, just speeding up the inevitable. He always did have a thing for strays. Lena stood, shoving her things into her bag. I have to go. Elias caught her wrist. Lena, let go. Her voice shook. This was a mistake. The headlines the next morning said it all. Billionaire surgeon's late-night tutoring session with student. And beneath it, a photo of them. In the library, his hand on hers, her face tilted toward his like a flower to the sun. The dean's office smelled like antiseptic and old money. Lena sat stiffly in the leather chair, her nails biting into her palms as Dean Whitmore slid the letter across the polished mahogany desk. Scholarship revocation notice. Her lungs constricted. Given. The unfortunate optics, Whitmore said delicately. The board feels continued funding would be inappropriate. Across the room, Naomi stood rigid by the window, her silence louder than any protest. Lena forced her voice steady. There's nothing inappropriate about studying. The photograph suggests otherwise. Whitmore adjusted his cufflinks monogrammed. Probably a gift from some donor. Dr. Voss has been advised to cease all non-academic interactions with you. A knock shattered the tension. The door swung open before Whitmore could respond. Elias stood framed in the doorway, his charcoal suit. Cutting an unforgiving line against the daylight, his gaze locked onto the letter in Lena's hands. I see we're making unilateral decisions today. His voice was lethally calm. Whitmore paled. Dr. Voss, this is a private, Miss Carter, Elias interrupted, still staring at Whitmore. Has just been awarded the Voss Research Fellowship. Full tuition, stipend. Lab access. His lips curled. Separate from any university funding. Naomi made a sharp noise. You can't buy her. Elias finally looked at Lena. It's not a purchase. It's an investment. Her pulse roared in her ears. The deal Lena cornered him in the parking garage an hour later. What the hell was that? She shoved the fellowship paperwork at his chest. You think I'll be your pet student? Elias didn't flinch. I think you're too brilliant to lose your degree over gossip. Rain sheeted down the concrete walls, misting his hair as he stepped closer. The fellowship is real. The research is yours. No strings. Bullshit. She laughed bitterly. There are always strings with men like you. His hand shot out, catching her wrist. Not hard enough to hurt, just enough to still her. Then name your terms, he growled. The air between them crackled. Lena yanked free. I want full autonomy. No vetoes on my thesis. No more late-night tutoring. Elias's jaw tightened. Done. The gala, the Voss Foundation gala, was a glittering cage of champagne and false smiles. Lena stood frozen in the entrance of the ballroom, painfully aware of her thrift store dress among the designer gowns. Then Elias was there, his hand at the small of her back, guiding her forward. Don't look like you're facing a firing squad, he murmured, his breath warm against her ear. She elbowed him subtly. I'd rather be dissecting cadavers. His chuckle sent an unwelcome shiver down her spine. Marcus intercepted them near the champagne fountain. Ah, the charity case, he drawled, looking Lena up and down. Tell me, do they teach you how to chase funding at that backwater clinic? Or is it instinct? Elias moved like a striking snake, gripping his brother's shoulder with deceptive calm. Apologize, Marcus smirked. Or what? You'll cut my allowance? Lena sipped her champagne. Actually, I'm curious, Marcus. How does it feel to live off Big Brother's money while pretending to be self-made? The surrounding crowd gasped. Ilias's grip on her waist tightened in, warning or approval. She wasn't sure. Marcus's face darkened. You little enough. Elias stepped between them. To Lena's shock, there was pride in his eyes. Dance with me. It wasn't a request. The dancer's hand was scorching through the thin fabric of her dress. You're enjoying this, Elias accused. As he spun her across the floor, Lena glared up at him. I hate you, liar. His thumb brushed the dip of her spine. The music swelled. She was suddenly hyper-aware of every point of contact, his thigh brushing hers. The citrus and sandalwood scent of him, the way his pulse jumped when she accidentally grazed his neck. You shouldn't have done it, she whispered. The fellowship. Now everyone thinks I don't care what they think. His grip tightened. Do you? The world narrowed to his eyes, dark and hungry. Lena forgot how to breathe. A crash of shattering glass broke the spell. Marcus stood at the edge of the dance floor, a broken champagne flute at his feet, his face twisted with fury. Elias sighed. But Lena was already walking away. The aftermath, she found him on the terrace an hour later. His tie loosened, a glass of whiskey dangling from his fingers. You left, he said flatly. You used me, she shot back. That scene with Marcus? That was for your ego, not my protection. Elias set down the glass with deliberate calm. You're right. The admission stunned her. He stepped closer. I should have warned you, but I'm not sorry for shutting him down. Moonlight caught the silver in his hair. I'm not sorry for saving your career. Lena's chest ached. I never asked you. Didn't have to, his voice dropped. I see you, Lena. All of you. The brilliance, the stubbornness, the way you care too much. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. That's why I did it. Her resolve crumbled. When he kissed her, it tasted like whiskey and war. And when she kissed him back, it felt like surrender. The photograph was everywhere by morning. Billionaire surgeon and student in midnight tryst screamed the tabloids. The image of Elias pinning Lena against the terrace railing, her fingers tangled in his hair, printed in pixelated glory across. Every gossip site, Lena hurled her phone across the dorm room. It hit the wall with a satisfying crack. Sophie whistled from the doorway. Damn, you do have a death wish. This isn't funny, Lena hissed. Never said it was. Sophie tossed her a coffee. But you kissed Elias Voss, publicly, after he basically declared war on his brother for you. She raised an eyebrow. Did you? Want people to talk? Lena's cheeks burned. Her new phone buzzed in. Unknown number. Unknown. Check your email. Then burn this phone. The attachment loaded slowly. A scanned medical record from 15 years ago. Patient name, Annette Carter, Lena's mother. Attending physician. Dr. Richard Voss, Elias's father, notes. Symptoms consistent with early stage. Glioblastoma. Ordered additional tests. Patient lost to follow-up. The world tilted. The lie Elise's penthouse smelled of rain and expensive whiskey. You knew, Lena accused, slamming the medical record onto his glass desk. He didn't flinch. Not until last night. Bullshit. Her voice cracked. Your father misdiagnosed her. She died because he falsified records to cover his mistake. Elias stood, his usual composure shattered. Marcus sent me the same file. He's been sitting on it for years, waiting to use it. Lena recoiled. And you didn't tell me? His jaw clenched. I was handling it. A hysterical laugh bubbled up. You mean buying silence? Like you bought my fellowship. Like you bought me. Elias moved faster than she expected, caging her against the floor-to-ceiling window. Manhattan sprawled beneath them, indifferent. I don't own you, he growled. But I will burn anyone who hurts you, including my family. His phone rang. The caller ID flashed Marcus. Lena saw red. The reckoning Marcus's pharmaceutical headquarters was all chrome and glass. A monument, too. Greed. Lena stormed past reception. Elias's security badge swiped from his coat, granting her access. She didn't plan, just moved, fueled by years of grief. Marcus looked up from his desk, smirking. Ah. The angry little, she slammed the medical record down. Explain. His smirk widened. Daddy dearest made a mistake. Buried it. Elias paid off the family. He leaned back. Funny, isn't it? You fucking the man who the door crashed open. Elias stood framed in the doorway, his expression murderous. Enough. Marcus laughed. Or what? You'll finally grow a spine? And Elias moved. 1 second he was at the door. The next he had Marcus by the throat, slamming him onto the desk. Give me one reason, Elias hissed. Not to ruin you. Choked out a laugh. 'Cause she'll never look at you the same. Lena's breath caught. Elias froze. The aftermath rain lashed the penthouse windows. Lena stood at the glass, watching the storm. You should have told me. Elias poured 2 whiskeys, his hands steady. Would it have changed anything? She turned. Yes. The admission hung between them. He set down the glasses. I'll dissolve Marcus's company. Turn the patents to public. Research. A pause. It won't bring her back. Lena's eyes burned. Nothing will. Elias crossed to her, close, but not touching. Stay. It wasn't a command. It was a plea. She reached for him. His mouth crashed onto hers, desperate as the kiss. Tasted like salt and regret, his hands gripping her hips like she might vanish. Lena pulled back first. I need time. Elise's grip tightened, then released. When the door shut behind her, sound echoed like a gunshot. The choice, the email arrived at dawn from International Neuro Research. Institute subject. Fellowship offer. Zuriklina stared. At the screen, Sophie peeked over her shoulder. Holy shit. Lena's finger hovered over the reply button. Her phone buzzed. Elias, whatever you choose, you'll be brilliant. No pressure. No demands. Just faith. She closed. Her eyes. 1 year later, the auditorium at the Zurich Neuro Institute hummed with anticipatory silence. Lena stood backstage, clutching her research notes, the weight of the last 12 months pressing against her ribs. Dr. Carter? A technician gestured to the podium. You're on. She stepped into the spotlight. The crowd blurred into a sea of faces until her gaze caught on a familiar silhouette in the back row. Elias, dressed in a simple black sweater. No tie, his silver-streaked hair slightly longer than she remembered. Their eyes locked across the distance, and for one reckless second, Lena forgot her own name. Then she began her presentation. The research. Early genetic markers for neurodegenerative diseases show alarming disparities in diagnostic accuracy across ethnic groups. Lena clicked to her first slide, her voice steady despite the way her pulse thundered. Our team has identified 3 previously overlooked variants prevalent in marginalized communities, routinely missed by standard testing protocols. Hand shot up in the front row. Dr. Laurent, the Institute's most notorious skeptic. And how do you propose funding widespread implementation of these revolutionary diagnostics? Lena smiled. Through partnerships with independent research hospitals, already 17 clinics across Africa and Southeast Asia have adopted our model with backing from the Voss Medical Foundation, I presume? Laurent smirked. How convenient? A murmur rippled through the crowd. Lena's fingers tightened around the podium. Then a voice cut through the noise. Actually, Elias said, rising from his seat, the foundation operates purely as a funding conduit. All intellectual property belongs solely to Dr. Carter's team. He met Lena's shocked gaze, as it should. The room erupted into chatter. The reunion. She found him afterward on the Institute's rooftop terrace. His elbows braced against the railing as Zurich glittered below. You came, Lena said. Elias did in turn. I told you I'd read your published work. This counts. A year's worth of unsaid words clogged her throat. She settled for the simplest one. Why? Finally, he faced her. The moonlight caught the new lines. Around his eyes, deeper now, more human. Because you were right. About everything. The system, the greed. The need to burn it all down and start over. His jaw flexed. I've spent the last year dismantling my family's empire, testifying against my father, returning every dirty penny to the patients we wronged. Lena's breath hitched, including my mother's case, especially hers. He reached into his coat, producing a single folded document, the original malpractice report, buried by my father. I've submitted it to the medical board. The paper trembled in her hands. After 15 years, justice. This doesn't erase what happened, Elias said quietly. Lena agreed. But it's a start. The confession, the winter wind whipped between them as Lena studied the man who'd appended her life. The billionaire who'd become her fiercest critic, her reluctant ally, her impossible love. I read about your testimony, she said. You lost everything. Not everything. His gaze burned into hers. I still have my scalpel, my skills. There's a free clinic in Nairobi that could use a surgeon. Alina's heart stuttered. Nairobi. But that's where your next research site is located. Yes. Ghost of his old smirk surfaced. I've been following your work very closely, Dr. Carter. She should walk away. Should protect the fragile peace she'd built without him, instead. She stepped closer. Are you asking to work with me, Dr. Voss? I'm asking to follow you? His hand hovered near her cheek, not quite touching. For once in my life, I want to be part of something that matters. But the only person who ever looked at me and saw a man instead of a wallet. Lena closed the distance. Their lips met, like a long-waited answer, Ilias's arms wrapping around her with the same intensity she remembered, but without the desperation. This kiss wasn't taking, it was giving. When they finally broke apart, his thumb brushed the tears from her cheeks. Say it, he murmured. Tell me to leave, and I will. Lena tangled her fingers in his hair. Stay epilogue. 6 months later, the Nairobi clinic's courtyard buzzed with laughter as Lena pinned the final solar panel into place. It's crooked, Elias called up from the ground, his surgical scrubs streaked with dirt. Says the man who can't tell a Phillips from a flathead screwdriver. She shot back. He grinned that rare, unguarded smile she'd come to cherish. Come down. The kids want to show you something. Inside the makeshift lab, a dozen children crowded. Around a microscope, taking turns peering at a slide of neural cells. Dr. Lena. Little Keone waved excitedly. Look, the cells are dancing. Ilias's hand settled at the small of her back as they watched the next generation of healers discover the wonder of science. This, he said quietly, is what matters. Lena leaned into his touch, the weight of the past finally lifting outside. The African sun blazed bright and relentless, just like their future,